They never told you that the most powerful force you carry has been with you since the very first moment you arrived here. Not your hands, not your mind, not even your heart, but your breath. Because somewhere along the way, breathing became nothing but survival, shallow, rushed, forgotten. You learned to inhale just enough to keep going, but not enough to feel alive. Yet the ancients knew. In every great tradition, they spoke of it, whispered of it, guarded it. In India, they called it prana, life force carried on the breath. In China, they called it qi, the subtle energy that animates all things. And in the desert traditions, it was ruach, the wind of spirit moving through you. They didn't see breath as air. They didn't see it as unconscious. They saw it as the bridge between your body and your soul. But somewhere we forgot. We learned to hold it back. We learned to trade depth for speed. We learned to silence it when it wanted to speak. And with that silence, something inside you dimmed. You forgot that your breath could calm storms, that it could awaken what sleeps, that it could gather what's been scattered. But even now, it waits. It waits in those quiet moments. When you let out a sigh you didn't know you were holding. When a deep inhale suddenly feels like coming home. That's not random. That's remembrance. And your body remembers, even when your mind forgets. This hidden breath was never hidden because it's hard to find. It was hidden because you stopped looking. But here you are, listening, feeling something stir, a faint tug inside you, whispering, you're ready. Ready to remember what was never truly lost, because when you find it again, you don't just breathe, you awaken, you return, you step back into yourself, and nothing will ever feel the same. The first time you really feel it, it doesn't feel dramatic, it feels quiet, almost too simple. You sit, you close your eyes, you place a hand on your belly, and you breathe. But this time, differently. This time, you notice how shallow your breath has become, how much you've been holding, how much you've been afraid to let go. And for a moment, you just listen. You feel the cool air coming in, the warm air leaving, and you wonder how many years you've lived without really feeling this. Because breath isn't just oxygen, it's presence, it's awareness, it's life remembering itself. And as you keep breathing, something shifts. The mind quiets, the body softens, the chest opens, and you realize you've been clenching for years, you've been carrying storms in your lungs, you've been surviving instead of living. The ancients taught that the way you breathe shapes the way you feel, shapes the way you think, shapes the way you are. Short, shallow breaths, a short, shallow life, but a full, deep, conscious breath, that's a different story. That's the beginning of awakening, because breath is the doorway to your nervous system, to your energy body, to your soul. And with each inhale, you draw in more than air. You draw in light, you draw in life, you draw in yourself. And with each exhale, you release more than carbon. You release tension, you release fear, you release the story that you are not enough. And the more you do this, the more you remember that you are not broken, that you are not separate, that you are not small, you are vast, you are alive, you are breath itself, taking form for a little while, and maybe this is why you're here now, listening, feeling something rise inside you, a quiet knowing that you've been waiting for this moment, for this remembering, for this breath. Because when you learn to breathe like this, you're no longer just alive, you're awake, and the world feels different because you are different. At first, it feels like a practice, something you set time aside for, something you sit down to do, a ritual. You close your eyes, you inhale deeply, you exhale slowly, and for a few minutes, you feel alive again. But what happens when it stops being a practice and starts being who you are? Because breath was never meant to live only in quiet rooms and closed eyes. It was meant to move with you everywhere. As you walk into a room, you can feel it. Calm, steady, anchored. You no longer carry storms in your chest. As you speak, you notice it. Your words slow down. Your tone softens. People listen, not just to your voice, but to your presence. Because presence is what breath gives you. It roots you, even in chaos. It centers you, even when everything around you feels scattered. And the more you live like this, the more you notice that you are no longer just breathing. You are being breathed by something greater, by something older, by life itself. And this changes everything. Your relationships, your choices, your creativity, your love. Because breath brings you back, again and again, to what matters. You begin to see that you don't have to react to everything. You don't have to rush. You don't have to prove. You can just be. And in that being, you find a quiet kind of power. People feel it when you enter a room. Not because you're louder, but because you're deeper. Because you've remembered what they've forgotten. Because you're here, fully. And maybe that's all you've ever needed. Not to fix yourself, not to become someone else, but to come home, to your own breath. And if something inside you is stirring now, if you feel that pull, that whisper that says yes, let it rise. Don't push it away. Don't doubt it. This is your soul asking you to come closer, to remember, to return. And if this message is speaking to you, share it below. Let others know they're not alone, because sometimes your breath isn't just for you. It's for everyone you touch. At some point, you realize this breath was never just yours. It moves through you, but it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to life itself. And life wants to move through you fully, so it can touch others through you. The ancients knew this. They didn't just breathe for themselves. They breathed for their children, for their land, for their ancestors, because every calm breath ripples outward. Every centered moment changes the field around you. And now, you begin to notice how people soften in your presence, how their shoulders drop when yours do, how their voice is quiet when yours does. Your breath becomes a mirror for others to remember their own. And this is where the hidden teaching lives. Breath is not only for healing you, it's for healing the space you enter, the people you love, even the strangers you'll never know. Because when you're anchored, they feel anchored. When you're present, they feel seen. When you're whole, they remember it's possible. And you don't have to say a word. Your breath speaks for you. Your presence carries the message. And the more you live like this, the more you understand. The world doesn't need you to fix it. It needs you to feel it, to breathe it, to meet it with your whole self. And maybe that's what you've been sensing, that your healing was never just about you. It was about everyone who'd feel your light, everyone who'd watch you choose peace. And remember, they could too, because peace is contagious, presence is contagious, breath is contagious. So let it ripple through your family, through your friends, through everyone you touch, without even trying. Because this is what the hidden breath teaches, that you are more than your lungs, more than your body. You are a channel, a bridge, a quiet revolution. And every time you choose to breathe fully, the world breathes a little easier too. There comes a moment when the breath feels different, no longer just air, no longer just calm, but something sacred, as if each inhale is a prayer and each exhale an offering. You begin to feel it, subtle at first, a quiet presence woven into each breath, like you're being breathed by something greater than yourself. The ancients spoke of this, that the breath is not yours alone, that each inhale is a thread connecting you to the divine, not in the sky, not in some distant place, but here, now, in the very center of you. And as you continue, you begin to sense that you were never separate, that you never had to earn it, that you've been held all along. Breath reminds you that divinity isn't a destination, it's a remembering, a returning, a quiet yes to what's already here. And the more you say yes, the more you soften, the more you trust, the more you open to what was always waiting. Because this is what the hidden breath teaches, that you don't have to seek, you don't have to strive, you just have to allow, to let the breath lead you home. And home isn't somewhere else. It's this moment, this body, this presence. And maybe that's why you found this message, why you kept listening, because some part of you already knew. That breath was the key, that breath was the bridge, that breath was the prayer you didn't know you were already saying. So let it keep guiding you, let it keep opening you, let it keep reminding you that you are not separate, that you are not broken, that you are already whole. And in that wholeness, you find the divine, not as an idea, but as yourself, breathing here, now. You think you've reached the end, but really, this is just the beginning, because every breath you take, every conscious inhale, every present exhale is a new choice, a choice to come back, to return, to remember. No matter how many times you forget, the breath is still here, waiting, patient, faithful. It asks for nothing, it judges nothing, it simply keeps offering itself to you over and over. Inhale, exhale, begin again. And maybe that's the real lesson, that you don't have to be perfect, you don't have to know all the answers, you don't have to have it all together. You just have to breathe, because this moment, this breath, is enough. And the more you let yourself believe that, the more your life begins to shift. You stop rushing, you stop clinging, you stop punishing yourself for forgetting, and instead, you remember that forgetting is part of it, that coming back is the practice, that every inhale is a new chance to live, to love, to awaken. And maybe that's what the hidden breath has been trying to tell you all along, that you were never broken, that you were never separate, that you were always held, always guided, always home. You just needed to slow down long enough to feel it. And now, if something inside you stirred, if you felt a quiet yes in your chest, don't let it fade. Let it rise. Let it ripple. Let it become a new way of being. And if this journey spoke to you, if you felt seen or less alone, leave a comment below. Let others feel your presence here. Your words might be the breath someone else needs. And if this path feels like home, if you're ready to keep remembering, subscribe, not just for more words, but for a reminder that we're all breathing through this together.